All right, so uh, today we're going to kind of dive into something I'm sure most of you are already keeping an eye on AMD. You know, the chip giant.
Yeah.
Now, they've been making waves,
Yeah.
but uh, their recent data center projections have some folks scratching their heads.
Right.
And we're talking about the massive server farms that power practically everything online these days, from
Yeah.
our favorite streaming services to the AI tools that everyone's been talking about.
Yeah. It seems like AI is just everywhere now.
It really is. And to help us unpack all of this, we've got some killer analysis from Impact Solutions,
Oh, yeah. They're great.
a consultancy that's really become a go-to source for navigating this whole tech landscape. If you haven't checked them out already, their site is www.lokitools.net.
I've been following their work for a while. Their insights are always spot on.
Yeah, they really know their stuff.
Yeah.
So our mission today is to figure out, why is this data center market such a headache for AMD?
Right.
What does it mean for them going forward? And what does it tell us about the bigger picture of tech right now?
Yeah. Those are the key questions.
Absolutely. So let's start with the headache part. What's going on with AMD in the data center world?
Well, the interesting thing here is that AMD isn't exactly failing. Their overall revenue is strong.
Yeah, they're not exactly going bankrupt.
Right. But as Impact Solutions highlights in their report, it's this contrast with their data center projections that's causing concern.
Yeah, it's like they aced all their classes except for the one that everyone's really watching.
Yeah.
Impact Solutions points out that AMD projected strong double-digit growth for their data center division,
Uh-huh.
which on the surface sounds pretty good.
Yeah, you'd think so.
But then you look at their main competitor, Nvidia,
Right.
and suddenly those double digits seem, well, a bit underwhelming.
Exactly. And that's what spooks investors. When a company misses the mark in a high-growth market like data centers, especially when their rival is absolutely crushing it,
Yeah.
people start to lose confidence.
And it's not just a perception thing, right? Their stock actually took a hit when these projections came out.
Oh, yeah. The market reacts quickly to these kinds of things.
Impact Solutions does a great job on www.lokitools.net of breaking down exactly how these market dynamics play out.
It's fascinating how much emphasis is placed on this one segment. Impact Solutions pointed out this irony. AMD actually exceeded overall revenue expectations for Q4, but the data center weakness completely overshadowed it.
It did. It really highlights how crucial that market has become.
Yeah, it's like baking an amazing cake and then forgetting the frosting.
And everyone's just staring at that bare top.
Exactly. But why is the data center market such a big deal? I mean, most of us don't interact with them directly.
Right. Most people probably don't even know what a data center is.
Think of it this way. Data centers are the engine rooms of the digital world. Every time you stream a video, send an email, or even use a voice assistant, you're relying on these vast server farms. And what's fueling this explosive growth? Artificial intelligence.
Okay, so AI is the secret sauce here.
Oh.
And speaking of sauce, Nvidia's been absolutely drowning in it. Their sales have doubled in just 2 years,
It's incredible.
largely thanks to their dominance in AI.
It's mind-boggling how quickly Nvidia has become synonymous with AI. And Impact Solutions dives into this on their site, www.lokitools.net. They lay out how Nvidia's GPUs are perfectly suited for the complex calculations that AI requires.
So while AMD is trying to figure out its data center strategy, Nvidia's out there building the AI-powered spaceship to Mars.
That's a great way to put it.
But where does this leave AMD? Is there any hope for them in the AI race?
Well, the good news is AMD's data center division is still expected to grow.
Okay, that's good.
Just not as quickly as investors would like.
Right.
But growth alone isn't enough. They need to capture market share, and that means going head-to-head with the 800-pound gorilla in the room.
So they need to figure out how to stand out on a market that's increasingly obsessed with AI. And to make things even more complicated, Impact Solutions points out that AMD is facing competition from a new angle, a cost-effective Chinese startup that's starting to make waves.
Talk about a pressure cooker.
It's getting crowded in there.
It is. And this is where it gets interesting for all of us. This isn't just a battle between tech companies.
Yeah.
The dominance of a few key players in AI has huge implications.
Okay, you got my attention. What kind of implications are we talking about?
Think about it. AI is going to impact everything from healthcare to transportation to finance.
Yeah, it's hard to think of an industry that won't be touched by AI.
Exactly. And if a handful of companies control the technology that powers those industries, we're talking about potential monopolies, rising costs, and maybe even slower innovation.
That's a little scary.
It is. Impact Solutions does a great job of outlining these potential scenarios on www.lokitools.net. And it's a little bit unnerving, to be honest.
So what does all this mean for AMD's future? Are they doomed to play second fiddle to Nvidia in the data center world?
Not necessarily, but they've got their work cut out for them.
Well, stay tuned because we're going to unpack all of that in part 2. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Before we went to break, we were discussing the challenges ahead for AMD, especially with the rise of AI and Nvidia's dominance in that space.
Right. It's a bit of a David and Goliath situation. But even David had a few tricks up his sleeve.
Ah.
So is there any hope for AMD? Can they pull off a slingshot maneuver and make a dent in this market?
Well, L-Impact Solutions doesn't paint a completely bleak picture. Their analysis actually points to a few potential bright spots for AMD.
Okay. Give me some good news. What's their take on how AMD can turn things around?
One thing L-Impact Solutions highlights on www.lokitools.net is that AMD's data center division is still projected to grow significantly in the coming years, even if it's not at the breakneck speed of Nvidia.
Yeah, we touched on that earlier. They're projected to rake in something like $18.4 billion by 2025.
Yeah, that's a huge number.
That's a 46% increase from 2024. I mean, that's not nothing. But I guess the question is, how do they translate that potential into actual market dominance?
Exactly, and that's where strategy comes in. L-Impact Solutions breaks down a few key areas where AMD needs to focus if they want to make a real impact.
All right, lay it on me. What's their recipe for success?
First off, they really emphasize the need for AMD to double down on research and development. They've got to be pushing the boundaries of technology, coming up with innovative solutions that can rival Nvidia's offerings. You can't compete with the top dog if you're just playing catch-up.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You've got to be the one setting the pace, not just following the leader.
Yeah.
What else does L-Impact Solutions suggest?
They also talk about the importance of strategic partnerships. AMD needs to be collaborating with other key players in the data center ecosystem, whether it's cloud service providers, software developers, or hardware manufacturers.
Right.
It's about building a robust network, leveraging the strengths of different partners to create a more comprehensive and compelling solution for customers.
It's like assembling a team of superheroes, each with their own unique powers. You put them together, and you've got a force to be reckoned with.
That's a great analogy. And that's something L-Impact Solutions really emphasizes. They've actually done a deep dive into successful partnerships in the tech industry, and their website, www.lokitools.net, has some great case studies on how to forge these alliances effectively.
So it's not just about having the best tech, it's about having the best team.
Yeah.
What else is on L-Impact Solutions' checklist for AMD?
Well, this one might seem obvious, but it's often overlooked communication. L-Impact Solutions stresses that AMD needs to get crystal clear about its vision and strategy and then shout it from the rooftops.
Oh, so like a marketing thing?
Yeah, kind of, but it's more than just marketing. They need to be communicating effectively with investors, with the wider market, and even with their own employees.
Yeah, I can see how that's crucial. You can have the most brilliant plan in the world, but if nobody understands it, you're not going anywhere.
Exactly. In a field as complex and rapidly evolving as tech, clear communication is essential for building trust and confidence. Investors want to know where their money is going, and customers want to understand why they should choose AMD over the competition.
So R&D, partnerships, and communication. Those are the big three, according to L-Impact Solutions. But is that enough? Are there any more unconventional strategies they suggest? Maybe something a little more outside the box.
They do touch on the idea of AMD exploring new market segments within the data center space, maybe focusing on more specialized applications like high-performance computing or edge computing.
Hold on, back up a second, edge computing. For those of us who aren't fluent in tech jargon, what exactly is that?
It's a really interesting area that's gaining a lot of traction. Essentially, it's about bringing computation closer to the data source, whether it's a smartphone, a sensor, or even a self-driving car.
Okay.
This reduces latency, meaning things happen faster, and it can improve efficiency by reducing the amount of data that needs to be sent back and forth to a central data center.
So instead of all the data having to travel back to a giant server farm somewhere, the processing happens right at the edge of the network, closer to the action.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
It is, and it's a rapidly growing market with huge potential. L-Impact Solutions argues that AMD could carve out a nice niche for themselves by offering specialized solutions for these edge computing applications.
So in a way, they're suggesting AMD zig while everyone else is zagging. Focus on an area where they might have a better chance of establishing a strong foothold.
That's a great way to put it. And that kind of strategic thinking is what L-Impact Solutions is known for. They're not just about analyzing the current landscape, they're about anticipating future trends and helping companies position themselves for success.
That's what makes them such a valuable resource for anyone in the tech world.
Definitely. And you can find a lot of their insights and analysis on their website, www.lokitools.net.
So we've got R&D partnerships, communication, and a dash of strategic diversification. It seems like AMD has a pretty solid roadmap to follow if they want to make a serious play in the data center market. But the big question is, can they actually execute on these strategies effectively?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And that's what we'll be exploring in part 3.
Stay tuned, because we're going to unpack the potential roadblocks and opportunities that lie ahead for AMD. We'll be back after a quick break.
See you then.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been digging into AMD's data center dilemma, and it's clear they've got some serious challenges ahead, especially with Nvidia's AI dominance. But now let's shift gears a bit.
Yeah, what's fascinating to me is how this situation highlights something much bigger than just one company's struggles. It raises questions about the future of tech itself
Okay.
and how it's going to impact all of us.
I'm intrigued. What kind of bigger picture are we talking about here?
Well, L-Impact Solutions makes this point in their analysis that really resonated with me. They talk about how crucial it is for companies to communicate their vision, not just to investors, but to society as a whole.
So it's not just about profits and market share, it's about the kind of future we're building with these technologies.
Yeah,
It's a pretty profound thought for a tech deep dive.
it is. And they're right. As technology becomes more powerful, especially AI, we need to be asking ourselves who gets to decide how it's used. And how do we ensure those decisions are ethical, responsible, and benefit everyone?
You're hitting on something really important. It's easy to get caught up in the speeds and feeds the latest gadgets, but we can't forget about the human element.
Exactly. And that's where resources like L-Impact Solutions become so valuable. They don't shy away from these bigger questions. Their analysis often goes beyond the purely financial.
Yeah.
Considering the ethical and societal implications of these technological advancements, you can find some really thought-provoking articles on their site, www.lokitools.net.
It's like they're pushing companies to think beyond the next quarterly report, to consider the long-term consequences of the tech they're developing.
Right, and that's something we as consumers and citizens need to be more aware of too. As AI and other powerful technologies become more integrated into our lives, we need to understand how they work, what the potential benefits and risks are, and most importantly, have a say in how they're developed and used.
So it's not just about passively consuming these technologies, it's about actively shaping them. And that starts with understanding them.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power, especially in today's tech landscape. The more we understand about these complex systems, the better equipped we are to make informed decisions, both as individuals and as a society.
That's a great point. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by all the advancements happening so rapidly, but the more we learn, the more we can participate in shaping the future we want.
Exactly. And there are some amazing resources out there to help us do that. I mean, L-Impact Solutions does a fantastic job of breaking down these complex issues in a way that's both informative and engaging. Their website, www.luckabouttools.net, is a goldmine for anyone who wants to learn more about the forces shaping the future of technology.
So what did we learn today? Well, AMD's data center dilemma is just one small piece of a much larger puzzle. It's a reminder that technology is constantly evolving and that we all have a role to play in making sure that evolution benefits humanity as a whole.
And if you're looking for a guide through this ever-changing tech landscape, I highly recommend checking out L-Impact Solutions at www.lokitools.net. Their analysis is top-notch, and they offer a truly valuable perspective on the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead.
Absolutely. Big thanks to L-Impact Solutions for the amazing work they do, and to you, our listeners, for diving deep with us. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning.